But if other people were sent a video of Donald Trump shitting on a plate, they would think that Donald Trump shitted on a plate.
Reality is a construct of perception. Carl is a construct of coffee and bad life choices. Here they meet in Carl versus Reality.
Hello and thank you for joining me for episode 2 of Carl versus Reality. How's it going? Second episode. I bet most people who listened to the first episode thought, I hope we don't make a second one. Well, I'm here, so that's what it is, isn't it? So what have I been dealing with reality this week? Well, I think a lot of people have been seeing a lot of these AI videos. Ooh, he's talking about AI. That's fun, isn't it? I bet he's got some strange view on that. Not really. It's one of those things where I've just noticed it's more prominent and they're all along the same sort of themes, like dead celebrities, or just doing things that you wouldn't expect them to do, or like old celebrities in new settings and all that kind of stuff. You know, I went down a rabbit hole of watching John Lennon like wear different hats. You know, there's like one of him wearing a hat of his own head. And it's spot on, like literally the voice is spot on, just everything's spot on about it. But there's other ones as well. There's lots of wrestling ones, like different wrestlers, different celebrities wrestling and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of scary how good they're getting, because obviously we know they aren't real because of the celebrities being dead and all that kind of stuff. So you know that it's not real. But there are actual actual living celebrities where, you know, they're doing stuff, and, you know, there's just other bits and pieces where it's almost believable, and it's actually getting a bit scary. You know, if someone sent me a video of Donald Trump shitting on a plate, you know, I'd be like, oh, that's obviously not true, isn't it? But if other people were sent a video of Donald Trump shitting on a plate, they would think that Donald Trump shitted on a plate, and they just take it at face value. But yeah, it's just a very strange thing we're living in at the minute, really, isn't it? Where you can't quite tell what's real and what's not. My thing is, I just assume that everything I'm seeing on the internet isn't real anymore, which I think isn't necessarily a bad thing per se, because it's just like, well, I don't really like what's going on in the world, and it's just a bit like, Christ, really, what is this? You know. Yeah, it's just mad how things have come on since however many years. I think in the last 2 years, it's just gotten more and more believable and more realistic, to the point where, you know, it's getting hard to tell what's going on. But yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. But yeah, you know, I've been also looking on the internet for some light stuff to talk about as well, because that's what I'm here for. Just trying to show you some stuff, or, you know, just may have not seen or read or whatever. But yeah, I saw this story, and it's actually quite an interesting one. It's quite an interesting topic anyway. It's about this guy who basically ate 3 kilograms or 6.6 pounds of Haribo gummy cola bottles. Yeah, over 3 days he ate that. Just wanted to say that there are certain things that I remember, and that was, I think it was Rishi Sunak, the ex-English Prime Minister, pronouncing it as Haribo. Don't know why that was. But yeah, so basically over 3 days, this guy ate the entire lot of you know, the cola bottles, which isn't even the best Haribo, really, is it? And it's equal to over 10,000 calories of sweeties. And if you put it into perspective, the intake of him eating all that, it's 9 bags a day of Haribo. That's about 1.5 kilograms of sugar, approximately 352 teaspoons, or the equivalent of 140 cans of Coke. And I'm not talking about the sugar-free Coke, like Coke Zero. Nothing wrong with Coke Zero, by the way. I actually quite like the Zero stuff. But yeah, it's that of the old school, you know, whole milk versions of Coca-Cola. So basically, after a couple of days, he noticed that he wasn't feeling too good. He got severe abdominal pain, started to sweat, high blood pressure, there was bloating, and he just had an inability to get out of bed. And, I would probably crap myself thinking, oh dear, what have I done? So he obviously went to the doctors and they suspected it would probably be food poisoning. But it turns out that he had elevated gelatin levels in his system, which led to a diagnosis of acute diverticulitis, which is basically inflammation / infection of the pouches in the colon. Didn't know that was a thing. But just from eating sweets, that's not good, is it? He's all right now. Don't worry about that. He basically was told that he couldn't eat anything. He was on like IV fluids. He couldn't eat any solids. Just basically pain management and just liquids. And he was in hospital for 6 days whilst he was being treated for all that. And he's apparently said he now has cola bottle PTSD. He sees one and thinks A&E. I mean, like I say, I don't even like the cola bottle sweets aren't even that good, really. I'm not a big fan of jelly sweets on the whole anyway, really. Give me chocolate. I've eaten so much chocolate in the past that I've felt a bit queasy, can't lie. I'm one of those people that will just sit there and think like, well, I've eaten so much of this bar of chocolate, I might as well just continue. I'm the same with that, with crisps and all that kind of stuff. I'm one of those people that would be like, well, there's no point eating, because I know that if I leave this, what I've got now, it's not going to be enough for me next time, which isn't maybe the best way of looking at things, but it's just the way that I go. But, his takeaway lesson from this is moderation. And that's true about life in general, really. Moderation is very, very important. A little of, this and that is fine. Just make sure you're not going over going the whole hog with it. And the other thing that is interesting, as I mentioned about Coke Zero, is that in the UK, we're not actually allowed that much sugar. My brother lives in America, and when he comes to England, he's all like, so where's the just normal sugary drinks? Where's the normal sugary stuff? Well, we don't have that in the UK. It's sort of hidden because we have sugar taxes and all that, which is I'm not a fan of all that. I think that adults are allowed to make their own decisions, really. If you're allowed to buy cigarettes and alcohol and all that kind of thing, we should be able to buy sugary things, But yeah, that's just me. But yeah, we'll have to make our own informed decisions. As that guy did, he made a decision. He knew. I would guarantee that he went into that thinking, mate, this is maybe a good idea, but But yeah. Anyway, I think it's just an interesting story, that really. Let's go on to a new portion of the show. Oh, that's exciting, isn't it? This being the second episode, I've actually got some listener feedback. I never thought it'd be a thing. You can email in show@carlversusreality.com. I am currently working on the website, just trying to tweak bits and pieces here and there. It's been a good few years since I've done anything like that, so give me a little while to sort that out, but I'll get it sorted out. So you can email in. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and all that kind of thing, But anyway, this is a message from Mark, who says, "Be honest, Carl. If someone offered you a free £500 coffee, would you drink it or flog it on eBay? Asking for a friend." So basically, this is from the last episode where I talked about the world's most expensive coffee, which was ridiculously expensive, and I think it's just a bit daft, really. If someone did offer me a free coffee, I would drink it. I would just part of me would be like, do I savour it? But if I've not paid for it, I'd probably just down it just to be a dick. And I would be like, right, anyway, I just brushed my teeth, so I didn't even taste that great. But yeah, it's an interesting, it's an interesting thing. They can do an iced coffee or a cold brew. Why is that? Why have they not made a cold brew out of this very expensive coffee? Anyway, I don't know that it's all about this. This show isn't just about coffee. I know that my intro, guys, is about coffee, but I'm not a one-track coffee mind. Anyway, so thank you for your message there. Another message here. This is a message from Sam. Hi Carl, I just listened to your first episode and now I can't buy a coffee without converting it into Starbucks units. My mate asked if I wanted to go halves on a takeaway last night and I said, nah, that's 1.5 Starbucks. You've ruined me. Cheers. I've noticed a lot of my family now have started to say about how much Starbucks is. Again, the last episode I mentioned about how I spent £30 on 2 cups of coffee and 2 cakes. Just to clarify, just in a very quick nutshell, my girlfriend wasn't very well, and I was like, "What do you fancy right now?" She's like, "Starbucks." That's what I got her, because that's what she fancied. So I wouldn't say begrudgingly. I was a bit like, "Oh my god, that's a lot of money for the Starbucks," but it's fine. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this episode of Carl vs. Reality. I do appreciate you sort of sticking around and listening. It means a lot. So, join me again next time for more of this crap, whatever this is. So, until the next time, take care of yourselves and ta-ta.